August 2026 is quite dramatic because the eclipses are back. They have arrived, and we will have the first eclipse happens in the sign of Leo on August 12th, and the second one is on in the sign of Pisces on August 28th. And so the eclipses always bring with them drama, and in the sign of Leo versus Aquarius, the question is typically about power, individual power, versus the power of the group, um, power of the people. So people versus individuality. So this can manifest in many forms, in terms of in society. It's about power to the people or power from the people, or is it a question of power to or an individual level? Are you taking back your power, or you're handing your power out? So those are the sort of the themes of this particular um, eclipse season. There's other things going on, but this is definitely the main story. The eclipses in the sign of Leo versus Aquarius, and then the second eclipse. We're in the transition of going from um, the Pisces Virgo eclipses that have been happening for the past couple of years. In that Pisces Virgo axis to the we are now in the transition to the Leo Aquarius axis, which is going to be happening for the next year and a half or so. And so then what happens when they're in the middle of this? Then we have the first eclipse in Leo, and then the second eclipse is still sort of the second eclipse in Pisces is sort of ending that cycle for our Pisces house. So let's start looking at the each sign separately. Okay, so Aries, the eclipses arrive, and it's interesting that you have simultaneously this dynamic between your identity house, which includes the Saturn Neptune transit and then retrograde, but then you also have Venus coming in there. Venus arrives in Libra around August 6th, and that's wonderful, um, because Venus loves to be in its own sign. However, the opposition to Saturn, typically not always easy, although uh, can also create a long-term relationship. I've also seen that. So there's but there's definitely a chance that you would meet someone when Venus is transiting your seventh house. That is definitely a possibility. Okay, so that's the good news. Now the Leo eclipse happens in your fifth house, of creative projects, um, children, anything that brings us joy in this life versus the group, the Aquarius, which is groups and friends and alliances. So, um, oh, but the fifth house is also romance. So there's especially because your card is surrender under unhealthy relationships. So there's definitely this Leo eclipse is definitely has this. The overall theme is in order for you to gain something, which is Jupiter there is wants to give you good things, but it's not for free because that South Node in Leo is kind of asking for you to give up something in order to gain something. So give up on those unhealthy relationship in order to gain healthy relationships. So this is especially when you have because you have Venus in your relationship house transit going on simultaneously, and especially because Mars um, has entered your um, uh, home environment. So I think that's the big name of the game. Um, Time to let go of uh, intimate relationships or in general any kind, even friendships that are not healthy, or if you feel that you are uh, giving more than receiving, then I would say, let them go so that you will gain so that new people then can be more inspiring, can enter your life. And the advice card is the cup of um, Six of Cups. I think this is a definitely um, simplifying. I would say simplify relationships. That's what I get. So it's according to the same theme. Simplify relationships. Let the ones uh, that take you uh, that drain your energy. Let those relationships go, and the ones that give you energy, let them create space for them to arrive. Okay, so I think that's the big message here, Aries. And then we go to Taurus. So Taurus, so so some sort of issue regarding um the Leo the Leo eclipse, solar eclipse is in your home um house, the fourth house, and looks like there's possibly some pressure. King of Wands there is possibly some sort of authority figure, some sort of something in your work or career environment, possibly creating some sort of pressure. Um, but there's a chance to start anew in your home area environment. So I feel like there's this eclipse in Leo is definitely about letting something go in order for you to gain something, because there's this Jupiter goodness wants to help you um in your Leo house, but it's not for free. You have to give up something in order to get those Jupiter gifts. So the South Node in Leo is kind of asking you to give up something that is no longer working in order to get the Jupiter gains. Okay, so um, but it is, but I would say if Pluto is in your career, if Pluto happens to represent your boss, and it's in the sign of Aquarius, which is ruled by um, Saturn. So then I would say it's probably not a month to try to argue with the boss. Um, but it's certainly, you shouldn't let it, uh, you know, you shouldn't be a doormat either. So, I mean, there's this, some sort of balance should be found between don't let it affect you, so that you have low self-esteem. Um, but on the other hand, don't be a doormat. Don't let other people tell you who you are. But on the other hand, do be careful because the eclipses can be unpredictable. So this is uh, looks like this is a cranky, unpredictable boss. Possibly that's the possibility here. Um, so I would just say that you know um, don't don't say too much, but don't let it. Don't argue back with your boss too much, but don't let it affect your self-esteem either. Okay. So Gemini, your um, the the solar eclipse is in your third house of your mind, communication, things like that. Now, the good news is that the eclipses are um, in your home and career axis is finally moving on, but not quite yet. So at the end of the month, we have the eclipse, the lunar eclipse in Pisces, which is your career house. So that's the final eclipse there. So whatever changes you've had are going to be now finally going to be over. And then the final touch is going to be next February when there's a lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. Okay, so this is sort of this transition time when the eclipses move from this axis, from your home career axis to the your home your mm, your own philosophy, inspirational house to your mind and communication houses. So, um, in general, we have a little bit of less control during eclipse time than usual. So, the good news is about your career is that nothing here is going to come as a surprise, I don't think. Even though Uranus is involved, it's going to square Uranus in your first house, but it's more like, yeah, I already knew that. So it's also about if you didn't make, if you made um, some courageous choices, it's probably, you're probably not going to feel these eclipses as much as you normally would. But if you've sort of put off making those changes, or you know just didn't want to deal with them, then this final eclipse in your career house at the end of the month on the 28th of August, that might do it. But again, um, it's not either good or bad. It's just generally just is. And you're being asked to surrender to spirit, which is, and then you also have the Hierophant card here. So there's this feeling of you're not going to have too much saying these in these events regardless. So just try to keep the stress level at a minimum because you have enough to deal with that Uranus in the first house, which is it's kind of affecting your nervous system, like I've mentioned before. So it's important to take care of your health, or your stress level. But at its best, this solar eclipse in Leo, can help you because Jupiter's there. So if you let something go, if you've been obsessed about something, let that part, and it's just not working because the south node is there. Let that go. Then Jupiter can help you because this eclipse demands that you let something go in order for that good thing to arrive. Okay. Okay, Cancer. So you are being asked to surrender comparisons with other people, and certainly regarding money, because the eclipses have now moved to your money axis, second and 12th house, and the theme of this money house eclipse on the 12th is let go of some aspects of that have to do with your maybe pride, um, in order to, if you've been obsessed about something regarding money or other people's money, if you've been obsessed with that, try to let that go, and then that Jupiter goodness can arrive because that Jupiter is there, helping your money house until next summer, and can help you if you let go of, let's let some part of it go so that this Jupiter goodness can come in. And the advice here is, yeah, you're going to have to kind of fight for it, and there is tension between you and there's some workplace career drama still going on. There's a cranky Saturn and Neptune kind of confusing this area, and squaring Mars. So this is not ideal, but um, it's the Five of Wands is not super serious. Like you can see that they're sort of jousting. They're sort of like there's a competitiveness to it, but it's not particularly hostile. So I feel like there's maybe that's sort of there is a competitive streak in you, even though you don't necessarily want to admit it. But there's a competitive side of you, which is what you can um, is good to sort of acknowledge every now and then. And Venus in your home, Venus in its home sign in your fourth house, which is your home environment, is just lovely this month. So looks like home is your sanctuary, in some way, even if it's squaring with Mars. Yes, so it's it's a complicated, it's like yes but kind of a month. um and again, that's why it is important to surrender comparisons with other people. uh these are not very serious issues, but they're more annoying than serious. that you're dealing with, but there's lots of good things there as well. That Venus in your fourth house is just lovely. Um, okay, Leo. All right. Well, ta-da! The eclipses are here, so you are getting your first eclipse um, in your sign, Leo, in your first house on August 12th, and it includes Jupiter and Mercury. So, um, but the main theme is that because uh, the south node here indicates that you have to let something go in order for that Jupiter goodness to uh, arrive. There's a price to pay for that Jupiter goodness, so that you will be able to receive those Jupiter gifts. You have to let something else go. You can't have your cake and eat it too, is sort of what I'm seeing this eclipse being. Yes, yes, it looks good, but it's not free. But that's okay. So something that you've been obsessed about, I would say let that part go. It's not working, let it go. And then you can enjoy this Jupiter. Um, then having Jupiter in your first house can really benefit you. Okay. But the Queen of Swords advice in this house, I mean, in this month, I would say, is a bit of a warning, like be careful not to have your ego too mm, there's it's wonderful to have you have Jupiter there boosting your ego, but too much boost of an ego obviously is not a good thing and will backfire when it comes to uh, eclipses, because they're unpredictable. So if you're behaving too boastful, too too much without thinking about consequences, then there will be a backlash. Okay, so I would say be mindful, be sharp, don't be don't be arrogant, and then let go of your possessions, and that's when you get that Jupiter goodness helping you. Overall, it's a very exciting. It's a uh, it's a it's exciting. This well, let's put it this way: you're not gonna get bored this month. So um, and the money house, other people's money house, the Pisces house is gonna have the last eclipse there at the end of the month on the 28th, and the Virgo house, your money house, will have the last lunar eclipse next February. So that's um, that's when the final shifts from your money houses that have happened for the past couple of years, then they are finally over. We're sort of in this transition time. But this solar eclipse in your Leo house, certainly in your identity house, certainly is not going to be boring, and at its best is going to be fantastic. Let go of some things, but you have to let go in order to receive. Okay. Okay, Virgo. Okay, so the good news first, you're getting Venus in your money house. Venus in your money house here for the um I mean it is gonna go retrograde later on, but for now, enjoy this uh, Venus starting August 6th in your money house, Libra. And then regarding the eclipses, well, the good news is that you're almost done. You're almost done with the eclipses because we're now in the middle of transitioning from your identity and relationship house into your 12th and 6th houses. But at the end of the month, we're going to have this final lunar eclipse in your relationship house, which is that's when you're finally going to see I think the final changes are going to come. And if you've made some, if you haven't seen big changes yet, this is it. This is probably going to bring those final changes. Most likely, nothing that you haven't anticipated, though. Okay, it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna surprise you, even if Uranus is squaring it. I think the themes of this is are still familiar to you. It's just the way it's going to surprise you is in question. And then your the last eclipse is next in your house is next February. So that's after that you won't get eclipses in this axis in your sign for another 9 years. Okay, so in the meantime, the Leo eclipse in your 12th house. I think the good news here is that the theme of this eclipse is that you have to let some let go of something in order for this Jupiter goodness to come in. Let go of some obsession you have. You secretly have some sort of obsession about something. Let it go, and you will be able to receive this Jupiter goodness. Okay? So, this Jupiter goodness will not arrive. You will not get it for free. You have to let go in order for it to receive it. And I think that ultimately, like, let's say it's a secret relationship or something like that, then in order to, if you let that go, if it's not good for you, if you let that go, then I think you will really, this Jupiter is really going to help you to kind of enjoy your alone time and your mental health. I think that this is the self-confidence. I think Jupiter here, at its best, it can help you to regain your self-confidence because it looks like you have very outdated beliefs about yourself, and it's time to let them go. And this um, um, uh, Five of Pentacles here is also, which is ruled by Mercury, is also referring to your Virgo mind, which is always worrying about something. Okay, so um, let go all these outdated beliefs about yourself, about some obsession you might have had, and your worries. If you let those go, then you will be able to let Jupiter heal that part of your Virgo chart, which is, you know, again, a long time. The this the um, self-esteem because it's your 12th house is ruled by Leo. So I think your self-esteem has gotten all kinds of the past few years have not been easy. So I think Jupiter here can really bring some healing. Okay, Libra. So you're looks like you're in a roll because on the because Venus is arriving your your sign on August 6th, and It's lovely. However, it is going to encounter retrograding cranky Saturn, Neptune. They're opposite in your relationship house, and so it's not quite as good as it could be, but it's lovely to have Venus in your own sign because it feels like you know what you're doing. You're gaining your confidence back. Um, okay, so maybe you don't get to do everything right away that you would like to, and there's all kinds of some sort of delays, or people are not quite um, with you as much as you would like them to. But this Jupiter Wheel of Fortune card to me tells me the the, the particular theme of this Leo eclipse on August 12th is that you have to let go of some obsession, South Node and Pluto. You have to let go of some obsession, and then you will gain this Jupiter goodness. This Jupiter goodness, Jupiter will stay in Leo until next summer, but there's a price to pay. So the price to pay is to let go of some obsession you've had. If you let go of that obsession, you can clearly see that it's not working. So let go of that, and then Jupiter can help you. So that would be my advice. And looks like Jupiter can definitely help you, but you have to let go. Surrender your need to always be right. So that's definitely, um, you don't always have to do everything the way you want to. You're going to have to be, I mean, you're a Libra, so you're definitely typically you do consider other people's point of view um, too almost too much. So that's not in question, but you can be surprisingly stubborn once you decide to do something, and nobody can talk you out of it. But this month, you're gonna have to listen to other people. Um, it doesn't seem to matter that you've made up your mind. You're gonna have to listen to other people as well. Um, okay, but then if you do, and when you do, that's when Jupiter can really help you, especially people um, authority figures, people in power can possibly help you quite a lot. Okay, so Scorpio, looks like you have looks like you have some annoying tasks to do. Possibly have to do with Saturn and Neptune in your sixth house of daily routines, work routines, because your card is a surrender procrastination. So there's something here that is annoying, but it has to get done. Um, and once you get it done, then things should work out better. But then, because especially in your career house, and if you're like retired or something like that, then this is your public role in society. A Leo, the Leo eclipse in this house is very much telling a story of, because of the South Node is there to take something away, but then Jupiter is also bringing something very fortunate in, and Jupiter is going to stay in your career house until next summer. But the name of this eclipse is like, in order for you to get that Jupiter goodness, you have to let go of some sort of almost obsession regarding career or home. It could be home related as well, because this is all happening in your home career axis. So something you're gonna have to, the Jupiter goodness is not free. You have to let something go in order to gain something. And Queen of Cups here is sort of a warning that sometimes when we get Jupiter in our Leo house, we might get our ego gets a boost, but eclipse time, we there can be unintended consequences. So, uh, boasting too much about your situation or making it too public um, can can have negative consequences. So, and even opportunities that look too good to be true, probably are too good to be true. So just keep an eye on it, because there is, again, if you stay humble, if you stay sharp, sort of Queen of Cups upright, then if you stay sharp and generous um, to yourself and to other people, then things should work out just fine. But don't get too carried away with this. Then things should go just fine, and take care of the paperwork or some sort of tasks that are may not be um, very desirable to do, some sort of paperwork. Um, Try to just get them done, and then you can move on. Sagittarius, looks like you're getting a new start in your house of your philosophy house, your life philosophy house, the ninth house. That's when we're getting the Leo eclipse. But in order for you to gain that Jupiter goodness, you're going to have to let go of something, possibly some sort of obsession, or yeah, some sort of obsession. And um, so I think I think this is potentially very inspiring. But there's something surprising about it. People are kind of, it's almost like, I'm going to move abroad. It's that type of thing, sort of. And then people are asking like, oh, why are you moving? And what, then you're being asked to surrender defensiveness. It's like, you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. You can just go ahead and do it. However, looks like there is some resistance to what you're attempting here. So there's some authority, there might be some delays here. Things may not go accordingly. This is also could be like university studies. You tried to get into some study program, didn't get in right away, but the timing just isn't right, or something like that. It's there's this definitely is marking a new start, but in order to get that new start, you have to let something go in order to enjoy this Jupiter goodness. So just keep that in mind. Like, the question is simply about timing. It's not that you won't succeed. You will, but at a later time. Capricorn. Okay, looks like lately it's been a bit of a downer. You are being asked to surrender negative thinking, and certainly cranky Saturn retrograding, cranky Neptune retrograding in your home, in Aries, in your home area of home, certainly can make one depressed. Mars is also entering your relationship uh, house. So yeah, bit a bit of a bummer, but this is temporary. And the good news this month is that you do have Venus entering your career house. And if you don't have a job, this might be a good time to look for one if you need one. If you're retired or you don't need a job, then this is some sort of improvement in your um, public role or in your current job. Um, Although it's going to get complicated a little bit later on because Venus is going to retrograde. But generally speaking, so the the eclipses are now going to start manifesting in your money axis, your money versus other people's money, and so there is some stress there. This could be karmic also, especially the eighth house is may not have to do with money always. It could be just um, you know, although it could be inheritance, it could be about, it certainly could be about money, but it can be karmic, um, what we owe other people, what other people owe us, some sort of thing. But looks like you don't have too much control over things. Generally speaking, the eclipses are sort of quite fated events. They sort of happen. We don't have too much say in them. So it looks like you have to give up something in order to receive this Jupiter goodness. And there's not much you can do about it one way or another. You know, Seven of Pentacles here is kind of indicating that. Um, but there are good things here. Um, find the joy in little things, like Venus in your 10th house. Um, try to find new routines. Uranus in the 6th house. Find a new health routine. Any work routine. Find new innovative ways to do it, and it can totally make such a difference, right? Um, and it will inspire you. Okay, and that's the best that at its best, that's what Uranus can offer. By making small changes, it will make a big difference in the long term. Okay, but this too shall pass, and there's a lot to be grateful for, um, even if especially that Venus there, in its own sign, and you know, so there's a lot to be grateful for, even if it's a little bit stressful and um, regarding money, but it is definitely I think ultimately it can be very rewarding if you let go of that. Um, there's some sort of obsession about money possibly here. So let that some sort of obsession about money go, and then you will actually get some sort of financial reward. That is a big possibility here. But this Jupiter reward is not free. You have to let go of something in order to gain something. Okay, Aquarius. So the eclipses um, are now moving to your relationship, Leo house, and your identity house. So first and seventh houses. So the Leo eclipse here. I mean, in simple terms, I would describe this particular Leo eclipse in Leo that because South Node is there, but Jupiter is there. So there's a lot to be celebrated here because Jupiter is going to be helping you in your relationship house. until next year. But it doesn't come for free. So the South Node sort of demands some sort of release, some sort of obsession. Let go of, it's almost like let go of that one type of relationship. And it's not necessarily an intimate relationship. It could be any relationship, or also customers are in this house. So let go of that one type of relationship in order to gain so much more. Jupiter wants to help you here, but you have to create space for Jupiter to help you. So let something that you've been obsessed about that is not working, let that go, and so much more can come in. Jupiter will then be able to help you a lot better. And the moon is referring to your Pisces house, and the second eclipse is going to be is going to happen in your second house of money at the end of August 28th, and that's sort of the final eclipse in this money axis. Well, there's another one in Virgo at the end of February. That's when that's the final say in those money houses. Then your money house is not going to get eclipsed for another 9 years. So that's something to celebrate. But looks like there's some sort of last thing happening at the end of the month with this Pisces eclipse. That's what this and it's Uranus is creating a square. So I would say it's not. It might be a surprise on some level, but on the other hand, it's not like you haven't been dealing with these issues for the past couple of years in your money house, mm, or your self-esteem. It's second house is your self-esteem and money, but you don't have. If you've made um, brave, changes, or you've already dealt with a lot of changes in your money house, then this shouldn't be too much of a surprise um, in one way. It's like it's not really nothing new. It's more like the only thing that is new about this is like how it happens. Okay, but it's not something that you're not expecting. Um, okay, so that's the final eclipse um, in your money house. Okay, and then Pisces. So surrender to your intuition is your card, and then you have Page of Swords. Okay, so the Leo eclipse is in your sixth house, so that's daily routine. It could be your health routine, your exercise routine. So it looks like something is needed, something needs to change here. But in order for you to gain this Jupiter goodness, Jupiter is always trying to help you here in your daily routine, your health routine. It looks like you have to let something go in order to gain that Jupiter goodness. The South Node here indicate that something has to go, some kind of bad habit, for example, has to go in order for you to take in this Jupiter goodness. Okay. Um, and And if there has been a concern or stress about money, well, Venus is entering your eighth house of other people's money, your wealth. So that is certainly good news. And I would say because Venus is doing great in this sign, at least for now, and uh, Saturn and Neptune are retrograde and cranky in in this Aries house, I would say that's generally speaking good news to your money situation. Um, and so yeah, the general theme for the month is let go of let go of bad habits. And the final eclipse in your house happens on August 28th. And um, again, not a surprise. It's more like the final touch. It's the final touch to the changes that have been happening in your identity and relationship house axis for the past 2 years. And so it's more like the surprise is how your home environment changes because of this final eclipse, or your identity changes because of this. But it's not something that you did not expect. It's more that uh, how it changes. Hopefully, it's only for the better. Hopefully, it's bringing some changes that were needed anyway, and that are good for you, especially in the long term. Okay. So thank you for listening, and please go to my website, lunardakini.com, to book an interactive Zoom reading that is a unique mix of astrology and tarot. I do readings of different length, and please provide your birthday, birthplace, time, and again, you can go and read about my different um, uh, astrology services, astrology and tarot services. Thank you so much for listening, and like, share to your friend if you think they would benefit from this. Subscribe, comment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching and listening.